All right, and everyone, welcome back to the PML podcast. This week we have both Wickles and we have Luke.
Lego.
How you guys doing? Survived. Okay. Wickles, how are you doing, man? I know last week you were out with a little bit of sickness.
Yep, I was down with the sickness, but I'm back.
That is one way of putting it. Okay. So, I guess Luke said we needed to keep this quick because he wanted to keep watching the Steelers just roast the Panthers. So, I guess skipping anything major that happened in the NFL, you want to just jump right into the fantasy headlines. Do we want to look at last week or just look ahead to this week?
I do want to call attention to the epic game that was Jacob Factor and EB decided by a measly 0.6 points.
In the year.
Yeah, 63.1 to 63.7. And that's probably going to just solve a playoff spot between them. Like, I think that's going to give EB the inside track to that, like, spot between those two teams because they're both, like, very low scoring. So it's going to come down to, like, those few wins that they'll be able to pick up towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I knew this already, but I'm just now realizing that EB is currently 5th. So yeah. He's one game ahead for a playoff spot. He is 10th in points scored. He has scored like almost 100 points behind the third worst team, and he has 5 wins. So EB is having what is close enough to a miracle season right now.
He's basically having the 2017 Bills season.
Stat of the year for y'all, the 2 worst teams in the league, which are Wick and Jared, both outscored Baxter and Evan combined last week by themselves.
That's pretty fucking impressive. Although if you go by record, it would be Jared and Tilka. So, you're not so far out of the bottom yet, Wick. You still got a shot.
Personally,
Rat poison.
I actually judge teams by their points scored. So, like, to me, Tilka and EB far and away have the worst teams in the league. It just so happens that EB's team is going to make the playoffs.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but you can't ignore the fact that Tilka and EB have number 1 defenses, so it makes things different.
It's hard when you play in a league where literally everyone has a number 1 D. Especially Evan, who currently has
last week. So
Evan has the Jaguars and the Cowboys, and that's 2 number 1 Ds. Although he just lost Sean Lee.
The Cowboys are actually not a number 1 defense because they do not protect their number 1. There's no defense for Jerry Jones. He just kind of does what he wants.
And Sean Lee just got hurt, so. But that's an annual headline, I'm pretty sure. That's expected. They frickin' drafted 2 linebackers for the specific reason that Sean Lee was going to get hurt. All right, so since we talked about that barn burner. Oh, and the game is back. But let's go into next week. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Let's go back to EB. EB's playing Wick this week. What do you guys think of this matchup?
It's again a really big game for EB and a really big game for Wick that probably has playoff implications.
I have never heard of 3 of Evan's starting players. I'm not sure who these people are.
Yeah, Marquez, Valdez-Scantling, and Mike Badgley. He was just signed by the Chargers to kick. And Wendell Smallwood is like a 3-yard per carry back for the Eagles. He's pretty mediocre.
Wendell Smallwood?
There's no reason to hear of Wendell Smallwood. But Marquez Valdez-Scantling is actually the number 2 receiver on Green Bay right now. So he's a decent pickup. I don't know if I'd be starting him as my number 2 wide receiver, but he's a decent flex.
Speaking of number 1 D, Wendell Smallwood, am I right?
That was good.
That was pretty solid. All right, moving up. I got Jacob Baxter versus Daniel Tilka. Baxter, they're actually projected to have a pretty solid game. Well, Baxter has Cam Newton right now, and Daniel has Cam Newton right now. Baxter has Greg Olsen and Boswell. Boswell's already got 9 points in the first half, so he's having a...
Hold on, I got to jump in here. I never asked this question. When did Tilka become Daniel? Is this like a thing I missed at some point?
He's definitely Tilka to me. The only person I've ever heard call him Daniel is like Craig right now and his wife.
Good point. Because Sarah and I are pretty much on the same wavelength.
I would agree.
Both devout Christians.
Yep. Me and Sarah Tilka, the 2 holiest people anyone knows. I'm about to be smited by God.
Ouch. Anyways, I'm going to have a bit of a hot take here. I got Baxter by 50 this week. If you guys heard, Michigan just legalized weed, and Baxter is definitely going to ride the wave to a massive victory. So I'd say he scores a minimum like 125 points this week.
All right, I will take that, but you have to realize that he is the Matt Stafford fan club, and he has Matt Stafford on his bench this week. So how big of a fan is Baxter? How does Baxter really love Matt Stafford? Is he really on the marijuana? Who knows?
He just dropped the touchdown. He's probably on the marijuana, taking weed on the regular.
Oh yeah. While we're talking hot takes, I'm taking credit for the hot take I had last week where I said Wick would beat Luke. So Pat's on my back.
You were right.
I mean, the writing was kind of on the wall. Am I right?
My hot take is actually going to be, I think this Tilka and Baxter matchup is a preview for the fight to not take the ACT at the end of the year. I think these are going to be the 2 teams battling it out in the last week.
I don't know if that's much of a hot take. That's like if I was saying it's going to be between the Bills and the Raiders for the first overall pick. It comes down to strength of schedule at some point.
Well,
all right, Baxter, I need you to change your name to, let's go with Todd Girls 1 Cup. Fits perfectly, and I highly recommend you do so immediately.
Yeah, wait, I don't know why you didn't fucking tell him that at the beginning of the season, because that name is a billion times better than what he's rolling with right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a slam dunk, man. Just go for it.
All right, moving on. I think we have this Preston and Luke matchup are the 2 top scoring teams against each other, both on some fucking hot streaks, and both 1 and 2.
You okay?
Luke in this game has James Conner, and Preston has a lot of buys, so that might play into it. Although Adam Thielen is on a buy for Luke.
Yes.
Number 1 receiver.
Le'Veon Bell has his last bye week this week, probably. If he plays at all.
Yeah, he has to report Tuesday, is that right?
He has to report by Tuesday. He is in Pittsburgh. The Steelers apparently think they're going to talk to him this weekend, but he also very easily could just not show up and just be in Pittsburgh for the rest of the season, just like hanging out. I don't know why you choose to just hang out in Pittsburgh if you don't work there, especially like after November. But if that's what he wants to do, to just, really stick it to the Steelers that, you guys could have had me and paid me $15 million, but instead you can pay James Conner nothing and get the exact same production. But I guess that's his plan.
Fair enough. It's a complicated situation. I know there was something today about if he had been tagged again, he would have gotten the quarterback tag, but it's like the Steelers wouldn't have tagged him again. That's really stupid to think. No team
so what
is
came
going to
out
pay.
today is apparently his agent didn't know that if he sat out the entire season and the Steelers tried to tag him next year, they'd have to pay him quarterback money regardless of whether or not he played. Like, his agent didn't know that. And they found that out like 2 weeks ago. And so that was like the reason why he kept sitting out past the bye week. Because he said at one point in like an interview with ESPN that he was going to come back at the bye week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't. Apparently that's what changed. Which
Usually, if you put your trust in one guy and the rest of the world is telling you that that guy is a moron, then you should probably stop trusting that guy.
Which guy's the moron in this situation? I think it's me.
Bell's agent.
What?
Bell's agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that guy.
I haven't
I'm the guy from the Aaron Rodgers commercial. What's his name?
I forget.
the guy who plays.
I feel like everyone's naming
The
up commercials.
NFL should probably
Steve.
hire that guy. Like, just the State Farm agent from the Aaron Rodgers commercial to be his new agent.
Look it up. Gabe.
All right, moving on to the newly named 5-year, $61 million Max Krebs team versus Hot Chub Time Machine. This is a recent trade that happened. Oh, Max has got a lot of points from Juju right now. That was from a trade he made earlier this year, but Jared is facing his own Patrick Mahomes against Arizona, he's probably going to put up at least 30 points.
I don't think he will. I think they've really been given a lot to Kareem Hunt recently, and they'll probably just try to control the clock and run a lot.
Fair enough.
Did Jared get a screen cap of the actual movie Hot Tub Time Machine and Photoshop Nick Chubb's head on top?
If you call what that is a Photoshop, then yes, that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of just a placing another picture in front and calling it an edit. But I respect the hustle.
It's a pretty cheap copy and paste job, but this matchup's pretty interesting. You know, Max has bitched about how he's scored so many points, but he lost so many games, and Jared, started with that 0-7 start of the season, but he scored a lot of points the last 3 weeks. I don't think this could be, I don't know if this is for a playoff spot for Jared. I think Jared's kind of in his own hole that's almost impossible to get out of, but this could very well mean a playoff spot for Max if he loses.
Max should win.
He should.
He
Juju
should.
has 16 points for him already, but...
Well, I mean, but like looking at the rest of Jared's team, like he's starting Marvin Jones and Tyler Boyd at receiver this week.
But what I heard is Nick Chubb is apparently a top 5 running back. So I feel like Nick Chubb is going to carry the fucking team and they're going to win because that's what Max Krebs keeps trying to tell me. But I'm not still salty about it or anything. I'm not still on this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We need to move
it's
on
pretty
from
hard to find a top 5 running back in this league, considering I have 5 out of the top 20 and Bilal Powell. There's only 15 left for the rest of the 9 players. So, although I didn't like the trade, I really can't blame him for going for it. But obviously, in this matchup, I kind of hope Jared wins. In fact, this week I'm calling for Jared to win and then for Preston to beat Luke. If that happens, then everyone will be between 6-3 and 3-6. And effective Tuesday, I will rename our league the Pac-12 South. And our championship game will be between, UCLA and Washington State or something like that.
Man, I can't wait for Arizona State to win that shitty conference.
Hashtag firm for Herm.
All right.
I've not watched a single Pac-12 game this year, and I'm pretty happy about it.
And this final matchup is Craig and Kevin. Kevin has Ben Roethlisberger on the bench with 24 points already, but I can't blame Kevin for trusting Carson Wentz against Dallas. Hopefully,
Roethlisberger died last week. I can't blame Kevin for benching him.
That's what I
true.
heard. I heard something about him dying.
He died. No, he said he died. And then he came back one play later. Shout out Josh Dobbs having easily the best pass in the entire game.
I can't really blame Kevin, though, because he's starting Wentz, who also came back from the dead, and he died for the Eagles' sins. So,
speaking of coming back from the dead, Leonard Fournette in the lineup for Kevin. That's interesting.
Oh, God.
He could either go for like 20 points or 0 points.
Is Fournette gonna vulture TJ Yeldon's starting role?
Many sources are saying no. TJ Yeldon will maintain his hold on the starting job.
Maybe for a series, and then he's going to pull a hamstring again, and he'll be out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I know Toby Gerhardt's hot on his heels.
Is Toby Gerhardt still in the league?
No.
He's in a fantasy league, I think. I don't know.
He's probably a FA.
I thought... No, he hasn't been in the league forever.
I would not be surprised if I lose
Toby
this
Gerhardt's
matchup.
31 years old.
Toby Gerhardt LinkedIn. Oh, he's back at Stanford. He's getting his MBA. Look at that.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, Gerhardt hasn't been in the league since 2016. The 2015-2016 season. He was placed on injured reserve in 2015 by the Jaguars and cut in March.
He's got a great LinkedIn profile. It goes Bachelor of Science, Management and Engineering to starting running back, Jacksonville Jaguars, MBA student.
Oh, God. It makes me feel really old that, he's, aged out of the league. 'Cause I'm pretty sure he was in college around the same time I was.
Wow, so he is really old, isn't he?
Wait, hold on. Apparently, if you go to, athletes' profiles on LinkedIn, the suggested profile are also other athletes. I may have to dive down this rabbit hole tonight. I see Vivek, the Kings owner. I see Jeannie Buss. I see Richard Sherman. Here's Julian Edelman. He looks like a douche.
No surprise.
There's no way those guys manage their own LinkedIn profiles, right?
What?
There's no way those guys manage their own LinkedIn profiles, right?
This is definitely good.
Well, Toby Gerhardt might manage his own LinkedIn profile, but the rest of them, no.
Google Julian Edelman LinkedIn. That's definitely managed by him.
So, for those of you listening, Julian Edelman.
3, 20-something co-eds that, do all of his social media for him.
Probably do more for him, too.
Here's Terrell Pryor. Here's
Oh, my God.
Dayal.
Julian Edelman looks like my entire, fraternity member graduating class from Dickinson. If you just said, hey, Luke, think of a frat bro from Dickinson, I would have pictured this exact image of Julian Edelman.
It says Manti Te'o's page doesn't exist anymore.
Just like his girlfriend.
Mexico, that's worth a shot.
Oh, man.
Maurice Claret is now in the mental health industry. How about that?
That
And we
sounds
should
like
have
a
mentioned.
great fit.
Apparently, I have 2 degrees of Maurice Claret.
All right, we need to...
That sounds like isn't that a game? 6 degrees of Maurice Claret.
Yeah. Wait, me and Braxton Miller have 8 connections. How is that?
Something to do with the gross state of Ohio, I bet. I don't know.
Oh, well. Well, this fun activity has turned into work as usual in my life, so I'll stop.
All right. It sounds like we're wrapping up. Are there any NFL hot takes or any final statements you guys want to make?
The Cleveland Browns will win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
And Greg Williams still won't be
at
retained.
that level. John Gruden knows what he's doing.
I already
Solid.
made that take.
Oh, really?
right.
Shit.
Well,
Greg Williams knows what he's doing.
That's better.
let's not pretend like Greg Williams doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. All right. I think
Next Browns
that's
head
it
coach. Oh.
from us on the PML podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying this horrible Thursday night football game. Good night, everybody.
That's the Thursday Night Football game. The Steelers all